Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video talking about Frank Darabont suing AMC for The Walking Dead for tens of millions of dollars. Okay, so I've heard from a couple viewers about this. Wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on the lawsuit, and everything was posted yesterday on most news outlets that cover this kind of stuff with The Walking Dead. I'll put the links in the description so you guys can go ahead and read over those if you're interested. Basically, to sum it up, my understanding of it is this, that there's basically two parts to it. The first one, which is the major one, is profit sharing. I guess Frank Darabont feels that he didn't get what he's supposed to have got for creating the Walking Dead television series or having his part in it. Now, I'm not sure if it was entirely his idea to create the show, but I think he was kind of the one that brought it forward to them and spearheaded it, and now they've made like all this profit off of it. And I think from the details in there, in his contract, he was supposed to get some kind of profit sharing, but it sounds like he basically didn't. Also, his contract was supposed to be, or he had a contract up until the end of season 3, and was signed and everything and all that, and basically AMC had let him go midway through season 2, so he didn't get to finish those seasons, and I don't think he got paid for them either. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't. So there's a lot of different, little parts to it and everything. I'm not going to, try to sit here and explain everything to do with the lawsuit and all that, because you guys know how complicated these legal type contracts and all these things could be. I think it'll come down to the actual contracts themselves, which I haven't been able to find online. And, well, obviously they're private, so you're not going to be able to find them anywhere probably. But it sounds like to me it'll all come down to how the contract was laid out in the start. When Frank Darabont signed on with AMC to do the 3 seasons, in those 2 contracts, the one for the first season, and then I think the second one for the second season and third season, it'll have to do with how those were drawn up and exactly what the wording is. Depending. Now, it probably could go either way depending on the wording, and how they drew up those contracts. If it does say that he's entitled to a certain percentage of profit sharing, and, there's not some weird technicality that has to do with accounting and which pool the money's in after whatever happens or whatever the case may be, how they can put in all these different little traps and technicalities and different stuff in contracts, then he probably will win, and he'll probably get at least something. It might not be all of it. It might not be tens of millions. I'm not sure exactly all the details for how they were able to get, that type of a figure. But if he's supposed to get a certain percentage of what the show does, then, and it's in the contract, then he probably will get it. But there's so many, contract law is so complicated, it's really hard to say without us actually having the contracts to actually review them. Then I could speculate a little bit more. But it really comes down to, is he entitled to something for creating the series, even after he hasn't been working on it anymore? So, for example, because they let him go, should he still be paid, executive producer rights? Should he still get, they do put his name in the credits or at the intro for The Walking Dead, which is pretty cool to see, developed by. So that's kind of a nice nod that they at least still acknowledge him. They haven't totally erased him out of, the program entirely. It still says his name on every episode when it's airing, so that's kind of cool. But it'll be kind of interesting to hear whether or not he wins the lawsuit and what he gets for it. What will they give him? Like, would he get profit sharing forever as long as the network does the show? I mean, I don't. Even though he's not involved with it at all, I don't know. He created it. I don't know if it's right for him to still get royalties of it afterwards, or maybe there'll be a middle ground and they'll give him 2 or 3 seasons worth of profit or something of the sort for exactly, depending on exactly how the contract was set up. But, there's a chance that depending on how it was written, that maybe AMC has total control over it, and with firing him, they were able to completely scratch him out of, of all of that profit sharing and everything. So anyway, kind of an interesting topic. Power to Frank for taking it to the network and trying to get what's his, if it is his. I mean, these things are so complicated. It's hard to tell if he's a good guy just trying to get what he deserves for creating it, or if it's the opposite, and he was under the impression when they signed on that he would get paid as for doing the episodes that he does, but that he doesn't have any kind of ownership over it, because really the network is the one that's going to fork out all the money to make the show happen, right? So he's almost like a creative employee, so to speak, right, of the network, in that he's creatively, with Robert Kirkman and the others, Gail Ann Hurd and producers and everything, producing the show, creating the series, writing and all these things, but yet it's all under that umbrella of AMC, and that they own all of it. Similar to like a Disney movie or something. You could have the best, most creative guy at Disney working on the next, I don't know, animated movie or whatever. But when it comes out, are they going to get any kind of cut of it, or are they just going to get their employee wage? So lots of different little technicalities and things. I'll be excited to hear what happens with this if he does win and wins the lawsuit and everything. I do think it was wrong that AMC fired him after only the season and a half, when he had signed on for 3 seasons. They should have let him at least finish that, and then if he wants to move on, or they want to move on after 3 or 4 years of working on it, that's okay then, I think. But it was kind of crappy how he got the ball rolling, got everything set up, ready to go with the first season, first half of the second season, and then they just cut him because he had a big mouth, I guess. So, corporate world, gotta love it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the whole issue. Very complicated. Read over the articles if you want, and just post it below. It's heavily debatable. Do you think he's in the right? Do you think he's in the wrong? And do you think he'll win? How much? Or do you think he won't get anything? Because there's a good chance that, like I said, if he's just a creative, if he's in that contract, if he's like a creative employee under the umbrella of AMC, there's a good chance he might not get anything. So I guess we'll see what happens. But hopefully it doesn't hurt the show. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't think it will, with the amount of money The Walking Dead makes. He just wants a little bit of cut of the profits, it sounds like, because he feels like he deserves it. Well, maybe that, and the fact that Mob City's not doing shit. So maybe he's like, okay, I better, send through that thing, because I don't think Mob City's doing well at all. The last 2 episodes when you're watching this, would be last night. And I don't think it's getting many viewers at all. I don't think it'll get renewed for another season. So maybe he turned to a lawsuit because he knew Mob City was going to fail, basically. Or he already knows it is. Anyway, I'll call it here. Let me know what you guys think. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trap, and I'm saying peace.